Obviously, inflation concerns are one thing, but I have to wonder, given the disruptions that you're seeing in Shanghai and the rest of China, what is this latest survey that you've come out shown? What's changed?
Yes, actually, the results of our survey show that 2021 was overall a good year financially. Most businesses report increased revenues and positive EBITs. However, it is becoming more difficult to do business in China. And the top challenges listed are, for sure, the stringent handling of COVID-19. This creates a lot of uncertainties with the ongoing lockdowns. And the second biggest challenge is, for sure, a slowing economy here in China. And doing business here is becoming more political.
The one thing I thought was interesting was that 1 in 5 European companies are actually considering moving away from China. Think about, or walk us through what the thought process is. Where are they going to? And how do you see these supply chains actually being reshuffled?
Yeah, this is actually an all-time high that 23% of the members reported that they consider shifting future investments to other markets. And for sure, the China market is very big and has a lot of growth opportunities. So companies will still stay here. But what they do is they are onshoring supply chains. They are localizing IT and data storage infrastructure, and they are localizing their teams from junior positions up to board members. So this leads to more decoupling, for sure, between the China operations and their European headquarters. And for sure, this uncertainty is having as a consequence that the European headquarters are pausing for thought. They are re-evaluating their China operations and their positions in China. And if this uncertainty will continue, they might consider to move investments which would have gone to China to other markets. And here they might stay, or most of them stay in Asia, and they look at Asia. This is a top destination for the future.
If you look at just the long-term picture for China, you mentioned investments might be pared back, but do you think in terms of the supply chain dominance, does that stay intact in China?
I think within China, the supply chain is working after the long lockdowns. I mean, Shanghai is emerging back from the lockdown, and supply chains are almost back to normal. Companies are working through their order backlogs, but we all know this will not be the last outbreak of Omicron, and more lockdowns will come. So with mass testing and lockdown, you cannot get a grip on Omicron, and China needs an exit strategy. So we need to see what will the future look like. And here the EU chamber is clearly recommending that China has to start to vaccinate, to booster, and to import obviously very efficient mRNA vaccines, which have proven to be very efficient. If China doesn't open the borders for the rest of the world, it will definitely isolate China even more.
Is it just because of the COVID policies? I wonder, with Beijing showing more warmer ties with Russia, how is that impacting sentiment among your members?
For sure, this caused another uncertainty, because it was a wake-up call for the European headquarters, how much they are depending on China, because it's a huge market, so they invested a lot. And what happened with the shock invasion of Russia, of Ukraine, they definitely also have to reconsider if it is safe to really depend so much on China.
And also, I have to ask you about these lines that we're seeing here when it comes to automakers like Volkswagen that are facing mounting scrutiny over Xinjiang and their presence there. How difficult is it for some of your members to really navigate through a lot of legislation, not to mention just the Russian sanctions and the like as well? Yes. How do they try to at least kind of navigate around this across the entire global supply chain?
This is for sure very sensitive for companies, and it is very clear that companies, we at the European Chamber, we are very concerned about the human rights abuses, and companies doing business here, they have to make sure that they implement international standards, code of ethics. They have to be transparent and documented, and especially companies operating in Xinjiang, they need to get third-party independent auditors to really document what they are doing. The problem is that China doesn't allow these third-party auditors to come, and they also do not allow media. And I think that would help a lot to give here more transparency. And for European companies, they are for sure sitting between a rock and a hard stone, because they have to comply to the supply chain laws of their countries. And on the other hand, they have to cope with the China sanction law. So that makes doing business here very, very difficult.